Right, welcome to another edition of the Top Flight Show. So we've got another, every episode seems to be special, but yeah, we've got a special episode where we are going to do a Quayside 5K review, and we've got Scott Beattie in as our special guest, so you can say hi.
Hello.
And we've of course got Rich and Cameron back, and we will be then going on to the track race that we've got at Jarrow to do a little preview of that, and we've got Stacey Smith to come in for that side. So yeah, Quayside review. Richie were behind the mic once again.
I was, yes.
What a performance.
As always. Left me high and dry again, didn't he?
What's this, isn't it?
No, solo on the mic again.
I thought you do a good job though.
Yeah, it's better just me. No, it was, class night of racing. Obviously, Scott taking the win, and Lily Partridge in the female race. It was both, I think I said this on the night, they were both really good performances in different ways, I thought. Lily's seemed to come off the back of not a huge amount of racing, but then got that course record and really just, attacked it from the off, but obviously mixed in within a group, whereas Scott just hit it hard, gun to tape, strong run in. It looked windy, was it?
Yeah, the first 2 and a bit K was, like, my second K was pretty slow. I just felt like I was running into a wall.
Yeah.
And then when I turned the corner, I was like, it's like one of those wins where you don't really feel like it's on your back either.
Yeah.
It was a good test either way, kind of like in the middle of a training block, just a bit of fun, run at home sort of thing. So no, it was tough, but I mean, it was just running hard either way. So
yeah, no, it was a good race, and obviously behind Scott, we had some big names in there. We had Ben Connor, who was up there, and obviously Jonathan Escalante Phillips in second place. He's running really well at the moment. Yeah, he seems consistent. He's got under that 14-minute mark again, so that was a good run from him.
Yeah, he's winning.
Yeah, and then obviously Poppy Tank and Philippa Storm both had really good runs. So I think it was considering the conditions, like the wind that's obviously Scott's mentioned as well. It is a fast course, but there was some really good results there on both sides.
I think the times hid how brutal the wind actually was, because we flipped a marquee over at the start of the event, so I was quite concerned about how windy it actually was. It's always worse going upstream, and when you compare to last year, the conditions were really nice.
Yeah, I think I'm in a lot better shape than I was last year when I did it, and obviously I ran a bit quicker. I did have a race last year the whole way.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I think that was the difference.
Just makes the wind. It does make a big difference.
Yeah,
I think the wind and having someone to race as well. But
absolutely.
Last year there was the 2 Kenyan guys.
Yeah,
they sort of blasted out, and you just followed and sat and waited, and then 1K to go, stuck the boot in.
Yeah.
Whereas this time it was just you wanted to
just
go
kept looking at me watch. I should have just stopped looking at it, to be honest.
Is that what the plan was? Just hit it hard to get the course record and go for that pace?
Yeah, I've come off a few track races, a bit shorter stuff, and then decided to keep the season going for some track races start of September.
Yeah.
So I was back into a pretty heavy training block, kind of just doing strength stuff again. So it was nice to kind of break it up a bit with that and just run hard when I wasn't feeling fresh or anything.
Yeah. So what is a heavy training week then at the minute? What's a regular?
I think I ran 92 miles last week with the race, so it's quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had lots of double days.
Yeah, I ran twice a day before the race, one steady and one easy. So, and then ran 5 miles the morning of the race, and then the race, and then did 6x K after.
Yeah,
did you?
Went for a session after.
Yeah. So
what sort of pace were you doing that, and what recoveries?
They were 303, kind of threshold off a minute. Yeah.
Nice.
Is a lot of your training with Andy threshold?
Yeah. It's I feel like it's similar to whatever this new Scandinavian, Norwegian, whatever people are doing, but he's been doing it for when he coached Badders in the early sort of
Most 2006,
2008.
No, everyone will know who Andy Badley is because of the running channel.
Oh yeah,
the running channel. Yeah,
that's our rivals.
And Mark
isn't it?
Draper, another case.
Just a few thousand followers.
He did a lot of the double session stuff with them back then as well, and sometimes when we do it, it's not just like 2 threshold sessions. Like Saturday I did hills in the morning and a threshold session in the evening, so it's a bit of mixed stuff like that as well, but pretty much just strength-based kind of training, yeah.
Yeah, to do like 2 sessions in a day, though, are you like really keeping it controlled on the first one in the morning?
Saturday was quite hard because the first one was probably meant to be harder, so I had like 200 metre hills, which is, for me, that's quite like, probably like high lactic session, which don't usually go to that like zone that often. But then sometimes, even if you go that hard in the morning, you can easily feel better in the afternoon still. And then we've done it the other way around as well. It just depends time of year and what like we have coming up and stuff, I think.
Yeah, the transition to that type of training, did that take a while? Because if I did like, I can do 1 session and like take quite, I'm older obviously, but it takes quite a few days for me to recover. And I've been like that for 10 years now. I'm sometimes better doing 1 harder session every 2 weeks and a few lighter things and steady runs. So the concept of like doing double sessions for me is like...
Yeah, I think he started coaching me kind of September last year, so I didn't do a double session till December, to be fair. So a few months of his coaching, and I think he kind of eased us in because some of our easy runs have got quicker. So like on some of our easy days, he was like, run steady or like progress the run rather than just jogging all the time, because I did a lot of that at uni where outside of sessions it would just be 7-minute pace.
Yeah,
that's interesting, isn't it?
So some of the days now are like 1 or 2 days a week is easy jogging, and then there'll be something every other day pretty much outside of those days, which I think helped progress into.
Yeah, so do you do a lot of steady running at like 6-minute mile, and so just like steady?
Yeah, it's kind of, well, I did a bit of testing last year, so a little bit off kind of heart rate and zones and stuff like that, but not all the time. It's just kind of off feel as well. So some days that can be 5:30 pace, and some days it'll be 6-minute pace, depending on what I've done and stuff.
So what Chris mentioned about recovery there, and obviously you'd had like a busy week, the week of the race. If you had had an easier build up to it, what does that race look like on Wednesday night with you feeling fresh going into it? Like, how much does it, like, is your body just used to that load now and you can still produce a similar level to when you're feeling really fresh? Or is it a significant
if I
difference?
Was, like, fresh and stuff, I'd have run quicker, probably. I mean, if I was going into a track 5,000, like, I wouldn't have done what I'd done 3-4 days previous. So that does make a difference. I think for track as well, like, you have to be a bit fresh just because you're running, the pace that you're running at, like, is quick. It's usually quicker than the road as well.
Yeah, it's a bit more brutal. I had a few people message me actually after your race saying, "How's Scott ran this fast? And it's faster than the Olympic heats. Why?"
I saw someone commented that on the Instagram. Actually, I was like, "Well, I didn't jog around at like 5-minute mile pace for the first half."
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? So yeah, you've also ran big PBs this year, 3K with a 742, 339, 1500 and the 5K. But you said you've got another 5K lined up, so the season isn't quite finished.
Yeah.
But do you know which one you're going for yet? Or?
Yeah, it's 3rd of September in Copenhagen.
Right.
Site bronze label, the meet. So I'm hoping the field will be like decent, sort of coming off the back of the Olympics and stuff, and people staying around and racing in Europe, hopefully. So yeah, just I want to get closer to 13:10.
Of course.
Ran my PB in Paris, and I felt like there was 4 or 5 more seconds there on the night. It just didn't really translate it. So, yeah.
And then will we be seeing much more of you on the road? Because you had, was it 90 finished in the world road racing last year?
Last year in the 5K, yeah.
Which was, like, obviously it's a new event, but it was still a stacked field.
Yeah, the field, like, it was weird time of the year. Like, there was a few guys in that field who'd had long track seasons who, like, I beat coming off the back of like them probably not in their peak fitness, but it was still a really good field. I don't know, I'm probably going to do Liverpool at the end of November, so maybe there's a race in between before Liverpool that I do something potentially.
Jarrow. We'll see him tough like Jarrow.
Yeah, October, good little tune.
What is the date? What is the date of that?
Is it I should know this, shouldn't I?
Is it?
Pressure's
on now.
Pressure's on. I'm going to find the date.
The race director's crumbling in front of our eyes.
6th of October.
Sounds like it's close to the 6th stage.
It is, yeah. I'm not sure which weeks they are.
Yeah,
but it'll be close. But yeah, we'll keep following the progress. Another question, I guess, because a lot of runners now are going from the UK unis across to America, then coming back. Stereotypically, because a few are, but stereotypically, a lot of them then can't translate that form that they got in America.
Yeah.
Or they can't improve on it, but you have. So, is there anything? Like any takeaway that you've got from that where you think, well, this is how I made it work?
I mean, I think the coach that I had in college, like the likes of Mark Scott's gone there, like Paddy Dever, who was just in the Olympics, Chris O'Hare, like they've all got better after they've been in university. And I think we, training-wise, did quite a bit of volume, but quality-wise in the week, we didn't hammer it a lot of the time. It was kind of just like sub-maximal, very like maybe one good session a week, if that. So I think he'd always had that view of like he wants, if they're getting international students in, like he wants us to run well after sort of university, because he knows that people do go home and still like continue doing athletics and stuff. So
yeah, and you're then an advert for their uni and their program to
yeah.
send the top international students back across.
Yeah. So I think it helps him as well if we're running well afterwards in the UK.
Which uni was it you did?
Tulsa.
Tulsa, yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say, I guess that kind of leads on to like what advice would you give to, if there's someone who's watching this and thinking about going to America and they're thinking about longevity as well, because there is a bit of a stereotype with American coaches. Well, it's getting better now, but I think there was.
Yeah.
Where they do tend to go hell for leather and burn people out. But I think it's getting better. Like I said, it's getting better now. But what would you say?
I think there's so much information out there now with even from 6 years ago when I was looking, like with social media and that, you can find out so much more about colleges, and there's YouTube and like teams and stuff that you can like watch series and look into. I think just do your research as much as you can.
And visits as well.
Do visits and just message people on social media who've gone out there. Like I think when I was 17, I just took it upon myself and just sent like 20 messages to random people on Instagram.
Yeah.
Didn't care if like they responded or not. Like quite a lot of Brits just being like, how was it? Was it all right? Like, would you recommend it? Just to see what they said.
Yeah. It's a bit like being on LinkedIn, isn't it? Except for recruiting for college.
Yeah.
It's like a job, yeah. But no, that's, I think
bottom line is just like, do your research. And if you, like, as well, like you want to be somewhere where you're going to be happy outside of running. Because like if you get injured, all of a sudden you don't have running anymore.
Yeah,
like,
it's weird. I was speaking to Cam Allen about this, and he was saying that he just didn't like it not because he didn't enjoy going over and didn't enjoy the running. It was literally the back ass of nowhere.
Yeah,
and he didn't enjoy the fact that it was just running. That was all they had. Like they couldn't just go down the local town or anything like that. And he went from St Mary's to that. So yeah, I think the social aspect as well is something that.
Yeah, that is a big. I think people forget about that as well when they're just thinking about running and going out. They forget that there's like a life outside of running and stuff.
So often, doesn't it, as well? So.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. And obviously, like going forward then for this season, you've got the 5K. You just mentioned that you're going to do cross country, which I guess we haven't seen as much of you on cross country as we have recently on track and road. So I guess going forward, are you just going at everything? Because I guess where you're sitting as like a 5K specialist who's been good at cross country and has got some track pedigree and some road pedigree, there are lots of different opportunities. Are you going to try and do a bit of everything?
I think, I mean, like Liverpool in European cross, I won't be like in top track shape then. It'll just be like part of winter, like to break kind of that training up that time of year, and then probably just go back on the track next year and hopefully run a lot better over 10K and 5 as well. So that's
find yourself back out to America to get the 10Ks.
Probably like to find the races. Like we obviously Highgate's class, but like that's literally it.
Yeah.
And then 5Ks if you're not in a Diamond League or in Boston, unfortunately, like not many people are running under 13:10 outside of those places, and so. Probably have to go back out there,
Fab, well, we'll be following with a a close eye.
Yeah, I've got a question, but it might be a bit hard for you to answer. But I don't know whether it will, because you'll probably have an idea of what you want to do in your career, though. So we've just finished an Olympic cycle.
Yeah.
Starting a new one. Where do you see? Do you have an idea of where things are going to go for you the next 4 years, and where does it finish?
The biggest thing is if I can get to being competitive on the track in the next year or two, then like I would like to stay there, because that's what I enjoy. But if I'm not, like, then I will like probably look to move up. But it just depends on results, really.
Yeah.
Like you look at like Emil, he's only a year older than me. He's moved up really early because he's like, this is where I'm going to be world class.
Yeah.
But I just can't let go of the track yet for a bit. But I think I probably will be better at the marathon. I'm kind of better as the distance goes up. So
you feel that you may end up at marathon eventually?
Whether that's in the next 4 years or 6 years or however, if I get that far, then probably.
Yeah, that sounds good. And so thank you. Obviously, you came to do the Quayside 5K last year and again this year. Hopefully, we'll see you engaging in the series a bit more. Like, obviously, you're going to be busy. Yeah. You're going to be training abroad, racing abroad. But what do you think of the concept overall?
No, I think the concept's really good. I like the idea and the concept of having kind of like a leaderboard in a league and kind of, I guess it's open for everyone, but like a more elite like series is really good. I think the biggest thing is just getting people to the races, isn't it? Like getting good fields and timing of the races as well. When you got to like think about when are people not doing stuff. But it's hard because like you've got track season and then people are getting paid appearance fees to do halves. So they're gonna do that, and then people are away on camps and stuff. So it's hard to assemble good fields. But I think the idea for the first year, like it's gone pretty well, I'd say. I mean, are you happy with how it's it's going?
Really, really happy. I mean, I guess each race we've wanted to do race by race, try to get a good field, try to get a very strong winner in the men's and the women's, have the carrot dangling of the big bonus money, but then hopefully engage people enough to see if they can schedule in that 2 or 3 race series and then have the overall. Because getting people for one race across the year is manageable. Yeah. And then I think 3 is like just at that right level where if we'd said you had to do more than 3, then you're starting to go like, well, not many people are going to be able to squeeze that in, especially your top runners. Maybe your top runners just turn out once or twice. Yeah. But that the value that they give to that one event individually is amazing. And then maybe this is hitting like the next tier runner down who can get into them races and get pulled along to PB. So we're really happy with it.
Maybe it's my perception of things, but I felt like this fixture, it had names in there in both the men's and women's race that there were big names, good domestic athletes that had travelled
for a midweek race.
Yeah. And I thought that's like, the likes of Lily Partridge, Poppy Tank, Ben Connor, Jonathan Escalante Phillips.
Yeah, Sam Gabri-Selassie coming back, taking the overall leaderboard. So he's done 3 now.
So there was some regular faces that we've seen in other ones, but that's what struck me, the difference with this fixture as opposed to some of the others, and maybe it's just word getting out. And
it's probably their first time on the Quayside as well.
Yeah,
I think Sam said that to me. I was like, yeah, it's lush, isn't it? Yeah. Actually realised it was nice.
So hopefully we'll get them back in January when we're back on the Quayside.
It was good to see Ben back as well. I know he's had a long time out and he's obviously a class athlete. But like racing for the first time after 16 months is not easy.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. And another few shout outs on the women's side is that we had Millie McKnipesy was back in again. Yeah. Kirsty Longley was back in again, all picking up points and getting up there. So thank you very much, Scott, for coming on, and hopefully we'll see you again soon, and good luck with the 5K and the rest of the season.
Yeah, cheers, thanks a lot.
Yeah. All right, so let's get onto the next, and that is our new guest, Stacey Smith.
Hello.
Former GB International 1500 metre race.
Oh, Scott didn't get that reception.
I know.
I feel.
Got that in.
Mike can cut in like some clapping. And
we'll do a little clap now.
Like the friends.
Clap. Scott.
Just do it for both.
Yeah, so obviously you've done quite a few of our races now, and yeah, it's fab to see you back competing. A little hamstring injury kept you out of this race and your record's being taken.
But what an incredible performance by Lily. She just went out strong. And it's a great time on that course because honestly, I tell you that going over that hill, over the Millennium Bridge, absolutely kills your legs, completely zaps you. So yeah, absolutely amazing time by Lily.
Yeah, she did amazing. I mean, it was such a really good field. Hopefully we'll see you back in there next year, trying to win that time back.
Absolutely, no, I want to go out in there and get it. I want to claw that title back.
Yeah, and
get the money as well.
Get the
exactly.
money.
Exactly.
Got bills to pay, man.
I know. And well, hopefully we'll see you at some of the other series races, because I know obviously you are supporting our races a lot, including at Jarrow you did our track race, which was another new initiative for us working with the BMC. And yeah, you came and did the 1500 first one in quite a few years.
And what a shock to the system it was. But when you have an event like that on your doorstep, just go and give it a go. So yeah, it was a really well-run event. So thank you to both of you for it. So no, it was really enjoyable. It was certainly a shock to the system though. My legs were paying for it the day afterwards. And when that gun went off, the speed that the guys went off at, I really underestimated how speedy it is.
Yeah.
My body completely forgot what it was like.
Yeah, because you've done quite a few like 5Ks and stuff, and obviously your times have just kept coming down and down. And when you confirmed that you were definitely running, I was doing the seed, and I was like, you've been too conservative here, because I obviously see you in training as well and how competitive you are with the guys, and it was a mixed race, so I knew you'd be like unfazed and want to jump in there and just get in amongst the men and beat them.
Yeah, but I didn't. I was at the back. It was one of those awkward ones, you know, when you're in a race and you kind of find yourself in a middle ground. So there was some people at the back and there was a bunch of guys at the front, and I just found that I was in between them. So it's just one of those like no man's land. So yeah, a bit unfortunate, but it was still enjoyable.
Yeah, what do you think about the mixed races compared to female only? I would have been... Like in an ideal world, I would love next year for us to have a strong women's A race. We could have potentially done it for the 800s that we've got at Gateshead this weekend, because there's a strong field, but we'd obviously already advertised them as mixed, and I guess the priority this year is get the races on, make them really competitive. So I've tried to make the fields like competitive based on season's best, so all the fields are as closely packed as they could be. Whereas if I made a women's only race, there might have been bigger gaps in between. So yeah, what do you think about the mixed race and compared to women's only?
I really enjoy it, and it depends on what the aim of the race is. If it's time only and that's what the focus is, then absolutely mixed races is essential. You need people in front of you to drag yourself around, and let's be honest, like how many people, you get to a certain level and you do eventually have to go overseas or get yourself into diamond leagues to really race that top level. And I know BMCs, they do the gold standard, and I think they have like platinum races or something. I'm a fan of them. I really like racing the blokes. I don't see it as anything. It's a race at the end of the day. And I think a lot of the times you go into these races and you're not really focused about position. It's not about where you place, really. It's about being competitive with yourself and trying to beat your own personal best, or even using these races as opportunities to maybe try new tactics, try new things in races as well. So yes. I'm a big fan of them, but it depends on the race setup. If it was a championship race, absolutely, obviously you've got to race men, women separate.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing, like what you want to get out with a race. Yeah. Because if you I can't liken it to being in mixed races, because I was never in that position really, but especially on the track, how I would look at it is similar to a BMC race. So you would go to a BMC hoping that you're going to get slung in a race with 10, 12 people that are quicker than you, and you're the slowest in the race, so you're going to get dragged around. So I would almost liken it to, you know, when you get in the mixed races, if you're going to be in there and all you want to get out of it is a quick time, well, then that's probably the best environment for you to get that quick time, as it would be for me going into a BMC race, being the slowest in the race. I know I'm going to be getting pulled around. So I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think it's what you want to get out of it. Championship races, totally different. You want to win. You want to get on the podium. And that's when they need to be separated.
And there's nothing worse than entering into a race and looking at the field and going, well, I'm 10 seconds ahead of all of these.
Absolutely.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to get anything. There's no gains in this for me. So absolutely, I think it's essential to get men and women racing together. I think it's fun.
I don't know that feeling anymore when you're so far ahead of the field.
Yeah.
The days are long gone.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think as well it'll take the pressure off if you're in with like a bunch of guys that like you don't know and you don't know what they're going for, and you just think, I'm just going to lock on to like a group of guys and just go with the field, not worry about time. Sometimes you kind of like take away I know what this girl's done because you know who she is or whatever. Or it might be like an unknown guy and you just basically focus on the back of his head, and then you pull out a massive time if you're not focusing too much on like what's going on around you.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the pressure thing there, definitely for some people, I think that's really important, I
think we've seen it well with like Lily and Poppy and Philippa Stone the other night. And I mean, probably a lot of others that were further down, but especially noticed Lily was nestled in a pack of a couple of the male athletes that are operating around about, 15:30, 15:45 pace. And that's class for her, because if that wasn't available, she would have had probably a similar run to how Scott would have had to tackle it. And I think the mixed races are great, and it works both ways as well.
Yeah, I think Lily was saying after the race that she was on the front of her pack, but then for the start section, but then the guys around her realised that it was Lily, and then went to the front to like actually help her on, which I remember from training with like Lisa Zabriskie, Laura Kenny, girls like that back in the day. They said that would actually happen with them as well. Like the men would often like just be buzzing that they were running next to such like an elite athlete, so would rather help them out, and they would get that in from the guys in training as well, whereas guys might have been like really competitive against each other, whereas they were happy to help out the ladies.
That's awesome.
So it's just a different type of racing, isn't it? So you've got, and I mean it's really working well, this idea in the Northeast, because we haven't had the BMCs up here for ages, so we've got the stereotypical midweek club type races which are open. We've got the championships, like the low key county ones, the school ones. People can enter the northerns and the national type championship races, and then the leagues have sort of died away. So here there's a niche here for like the pacemakers races, whereas if people are doing that like every race all the time, then they're not getting the tactics that they need. And I guess we've just seen at the Olympics, some people can't race tactically. Even it's hard to criticise because this guy's an Olympic champion, but like Jakob in the 1500 metres isn't as good at racing a 1500 tactically as he is at the 5k. He's brilliant at the 5k. He's not as good tactically at the 15 because he's so used to just being in the Diamond League, like hyper-paced races. And I'm sure he'll be kicking himself now, thinking actually didn't need to go as hard. He could have not gone as hard in the first lap, bide his time, go at even 900 or 800 or 700, go at the front, get faster every 100. But you've got to practice doing that. Absolutely, and it's providing the opportunities for athletes in the Northeast, because the Northeast have had nothing for so long, and I've dipped in and out of athletics and in the time that I've been away, and then come back into something like this. If I had this growing up, it wouldn't mean heading off to Manchester and Watford and maybe doing some of these overseas races. You've got them on your doorstep, and I hope what the Olympics does, actually, a bit like off the back of, in my day, it was Kelly Holmes, that her legacy and what she did for middle distance running. Now we've got Keely, who is going to have, hopefully, a big impact on female distance runners, males as well, but I hope female middle distance runners like kind of look up to her and go, I want to do that. And I hope that kind of, and with this racing series, it provides an opportunity for them to get involved in races.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's huge for the Northeast, because it is such, there's not very many opportunities up here. We do have to travel a long way.
provides an opportunity as well for some Scottish athletes. I've seen that you've got a few entered,
really
right?
good Scottish athletes.
They send like a
coming down.
minibus down to Trafford normally, like from like Glasgow and stuff, just so that they can have an opportunity to race because they don't really have anything up there either. So that saves another 2.5, 3 hours on their journey as well. Well, 6 hours round trip, whatever.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, let's look at this weekend ahead. So on Sunday it's our Gateshead 800 metres. So Gateshead Harriers have got their Tartan Games event, which has gone on for...
Oh, shout out the Tartan Games.
Shout out the Tartan
I've had a
Games.
few medals there.
Everyone's
back in
done
my
the
day.
Tartan
I
Games
haven't
in
done
the
it. I've
North
never done them.
What?
What are they?
You haven't done it?
No,
I'll tell you
what are
what.
they?
He's an interesting fact for you.
No, go on then.
I done a week's holiday in Zante, lads'
you were gonna say
holiday,
Gateshead
when
there.
I was 20,
Here we go.
when I was like 21, and then turned up
Did they have
the
electricity
Tartan
back then?
Games a week later, nabbed gold, didn't I? Class.
You've what, sorry?
That shows the level of competition that year.
I
won it?
remember once having like one of my worst ever track races was the Tartan Games.
Oh, it was
because
probably the being to Zante and
I hadn't
licking
been,
around
You're
the
the
track.
same
hadn't been
flag.
as anti. I thought that I could break a 4-minute mile, and it was really windy. And I tried to get a couple of the lads to paces, and I went.
I feel like
I went
was in that
through
race.
the K.
Was McLeod in it?
Yeah, and Ryan Stevenson.
Yeah, I was in
Ryan,
that race.
They came past
I was
me.
last.
But I went...
Bad day at the
I had
office.
a massive lead because I went... They must have ran a consistent pace, ran about 4:15, 4:16. But I was still on pace at a K, and I was only 1 or 2 seconds outside at the bell. So I maybe went through the bell in about 3:02, and then I finished on like 4:20. So like, I honestly...
Oh, I don't think I'd have been last.
You don't remember.
Surely I reined him in.
Yeah,
You
I
did
was
a
still in
yakka.
the lead at 100 to go. And then I totally imploded and ran like 80 odd
I
seconds.
know,
the
he's
last
you,
lap.
sat here slating Jakob in the Olympics for his
know.
tactics, and you going out the Tartan Games and blowing up the 400 metres to go.
It's the last race in August, and I've had a
It
decent
is.
season, so I was like, it's now or nothing for like breaking a 4-minute mile. Went for it and totally blew up. So
What
at
is
least
it? I don't
committed to
understand. Like, what is the Tartan Game? I've heard about it. But
It's
I'm
a
not, I
track
don't even know what it
competition,
is.
Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
well,
a kick-off,
obviously,
right?
Yeah,
You'll be
it's
there on
Fuck
Sunday,
it,
mate.
gosh, I swear- I swear
It's
on
normally
that.
the last race
Just cut that
of
out.
the season.
In the north
right?
east
Yeah.
of the track, yeah. It's a like open medal meet, but organised by
Is it?
Gateshead
I
Harriers.
thought it was like an inter-counties meet or something like that.
No. So it's,
Why
it's
is
just
it not
that?
open medal
Cam,
meet
Cam.
ran by Gateshead Harriers.
So why is it called the Tartan Games then? I don't get it.
Have
tracks
no
are
idea.
made of tartan?
Fair enough.
It's
I
like,
thought it was
well,
like some
the
Scottish
Mondo
element to
now,
it or
but
something.
no, you used-
Mondo Games.
Everyone's walking around
The
in
Dolomite
kilts.
Games back in the day.
So the Mondo is the brand of track now, but it used to be tartan.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Tartan track.
Right.
So that's why it's the Tartan Games. But
There you
anyway,
go.
they're finishing at
There you go,
3:30,
history
and then
lesson.
we come in at
Get him.
4
Love it.
o'clock, and we're doing 1 800 every 10 minutes for 90 minutes. So we've got, at the minute, it's looking like 10 races, but there's still got a few entries coming in, or you might get some people pull out. But at the minute, we're sitting on 82 entries, so roughly 10 races, and got pacemaker set up for all. But if anybody else fancies pacing, we've got we're paying well for pacing, where we're not just paying for 400. It's like, well, I want you to go towards 600. 600's a long way, but it's no good if we want somebody to pace through in 55 seconds for 400. There's no good going in 25 and then 30 and then dropping out of the high jump.
That's
bed.
annoying, yeah.
Like, you need to have, if you're asking for 55, you need somebody to go through in like 27 point, keep going
Yeah.
up the back
I
straight.
feel like in
pull
the
off.
800, if you
So-
can get to 500 metres and then they peel off a little, start to peel off alongside you, and then I think that's
Oh,
fine.
the
Imagine
junior
essentially it's
turn there, like
300 metres.
500,
Hard, isn't
yeah.
it?
So we're paying extra as long as you hit the splits evenly through 400, and then if you take it towards like past 500 metres, we're paying extra bonus as well. So like we're paying £75 for pacing that race correctly, and then some of the pacemakers will double up, do a few races. So good payday for those who are maybe they've knocked their own season on the head for whatever reason, but they still fancy coming and pacing. We've got a few guys who are really good
So fun,
400,
don't they?
800 runners who are going to like do a bit of pacing because they've
You've
got
got your road again.
they've got the skills.
Yeah.
You'd be injured, so we can't run any race. So,
What's new?
but yeah,
Shambles.
we've got the prize money on again. So it's £100 for the. Well, we're assuming the men's A race, £100 for the win, but it's the fastest performers of the day, men and women. So we're not sure which race that will come from for the women. So we might change that in future years. If we have like an A race for men and an A race for ladies, then we could have the winner getting the £100. But just to keep that like fair and transparent, it's £100 for the fastest on the day, and we'll also pay out for the top 5, £150, 100, 75, 50, 25, on top of the initial £100, as long as you're under the time that we've set. So it's 151 for the men and 210 for the women, which is based on the UK target for how many people they want to get under, like 100 people under that time. If you look on Power of 10, so that's where I got them from. And we'll also pay £100 bonus for the best age graded time. So we did that at Jarrow, and Aidan Page won that one. So he was 17 and ran, I think, 351. So the way that works...
And he's back.
He is. He's
He's
back.
a Scot, isn't he?
So,
as well.
Yeah. So the way that works is it's looking at the world record is like 100 points, 100 percentage points, and then it takes your percentage away from the world record, and award assigns you a number of points, and then they'll look at that for your age and gender. So it could be that somebody who's 55 might have run a better age graded time than the winner of the senior men's, or a 13-year-old could have done the same. So anyway, it's just to engage people away from just that A race, so that anybody could win that if they run the best relative performance age. It's not a perfect system, but
they should do that with weight, because I think I would clean up. I really do.
Then
I've still got a 5-minute 1500 in me, right? But I weigh that much that I'd be cleaning up at a top flight series, 100%.
Are you still banging out the runs in the Alpha Flies or not?
I am, yeah.
How's it going?
All right, mate,
done 10 mile in 70 minutes the other day, but
downhill.
Who's checking this? Who's checking my Strava? I was all in.
Did you do that? Is that what you did? That's pretty good.
15.5 stone, that, you know.
That is pretty good, yeah.
See?
Did you do a few rounds on the bags after or not?
You are?
Did you do a few rounds on the bags after?
No.
So no weight graded this time, but you could get up to 350 quid if you triggered all of them for the win. So it's not often that you get that sort of prize money on the track. And yeah, you triggered that last time. So how much of an incentive was it for you?
Massive.
Oh, what did you spend it on?
What did I?
No,
bevies.
don't start me with Aaron Palmos, because this could get tasty.
Beefy. What did I haven't spent it actually. No.
Oh, banking it wise,
banking
investor.
It. Yeah.
We like that.
Saving it for a big one.
Yeah, stocks and shares.
Yeah.
In the top, shares in top flight.
She's buying shares in top flight. Yeah, can't wait. We float the company.
Well, yeah. Hopefully somebody's going to pick up that, and I think let's have a delve into the fields.
Before you haven't acknowledged a couple of big things here. One, there's going to be a live stream, so people can dial in on YouTube. But number two, this guy is actually turning up for commentary. He'll turn up and go, what am I commentating on? There's the Tartan Games. Why is it called the Tartan Games? But yeah, Cam's on commentary.
Cameron on commentary.
Are you good on the mic or not?
I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'll wait for the boss to tell me.
Yeah, get him back on the mic.
So we're going to try and go for 2 cameras this time. So we'll have the fixed camera, and we're also going to have the second handheld camera with a microphone on it, and we should be able to get them both from the commentary box. So we should be able to try and get both. The races are 2 minutes, so you've then got 8 minutes to try and play around, whereas last time we only had about 5 minutes in between each race, so it was a bit tighter. We should have all the data on open track again, so we can get the graphics, we can get the results instantly, things like that. So it's our second go at it, so it should be better than the first time.
We're mic'd up around the stadium, aren't we?
Even your first event, I thought was a brilliant event. I know it was your first attempt, but it was fun.
Oh,
it was such a good. It was a good atmosphere.
You should have seen it 5 minutes before the first race was about to go off. There was hell on. Me and Cam couldn't get in the commentary box past. He was flapping, then just said, "Just go on the infield and start commentating." So me and Cam were like stood there. Cam was like, "You do this one. You're better than me." This guy and stuff. I was like, "Oh no, Cam, go on. You'll be really good at it."
That's live events, isn't it?
Nobody would have known that there was chaos behind the scenes, because it was. I mean, it helped that it was a gorgeous day, and hopefully the northeast gives us some nice weather at the weekend as well.
Cool. We're composed under pressure, aren't we? We just
something like that.
We get it done.
Yeah.
No, we just like to be like as good as we can, really. And we had technical issues on the live stream because we were trying to do everything in one go, which is fine. We want to do everything in one go. But yeah, that was our first live effort. So hopefully next time we can nail that as well. So when people watch the races back,
we'll have a bang on at the weekend. We've learned from our experiences, and that's the main thing, Cam.
What experiences?
We learn from our own mistakes.
I never turned up.
Yeah, you not turning up is don't come tonight.
Cars broke down again.
Yeah. So I think on the men's side we could get the A and the B races won in under the bonus time. But if we look at the A race, we've got
Sorry, what's the bonus time?
the bonus time is 151 flat and 210 for the ladies. So on the men's side, we've got David Race. So he's ran 147.2 this year. He is a Gateshead Harriers, so he's on home turf. He was actually on the adverts because we had a good picture from him from the BMCs last year. So yeah, poster boy for the event. Went the European Juniors last year. He's been in great form. He's done a load of the BMCs this year. He was fourth in Birmingham and Bury BMCs. So he's coming in good shape. Going out at 147.21. It would be great to sneak a PB on home territory if we get some good weather.
Absolutely. And you've got a couple of other guys, 148 and 150 as well. So it looks like a really strong field. Hang on, we've got a 154.
Yeah, so we've got, basically what we've done for the seeding is we've seeded on season's best of this year. And then after that, we've factored in another time slot. What the season's best was last year, what the PBs were. And basically just looked at those factors. Has anybody done a really fast 1500, for example? So is there anything that boosts them up and sort of puts them in that race?
Tell you who I'm looking forward to seeing. Rob Shipley.
Oh, I knew he was going to say that.
Why did you think
I've
that?
been lining him up for ages.
Why? Did you think
Why? I'll tell you why. Because he's ran 22, one for 200 metres and he's an 800 metre runner.
I know him. Yeah, he's.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. He's inside knowledge. Cameron Boyack over here.
No, he's like winning races all the time. So like he won the race in his PB. He's won the Northerns. He won the English Champs 800 as well.
Yeah, he did.
He's fast. He actually won Bucks 400 metres.
Yeah, his PBs are
good.
mental on the short distances.
He's really good.
48, 400.
But obviously he's moving up. But he was coached by Max and Judy Colby from Durham until.
yes.
So because we've seen that he had a Durham Uni picture in his.
They've just retired from coaching, so he's now with Andy Henderson. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So he's gone. So 22.11. I put like exclamation points after that because that is crazy fast. But I'd seen like last season he'd ran 2:00 for 800. So then he's ran 150.62. He's won 14 times this year. So 14.
That's a streak. That.
I didn't realise.
That's a streak.
So he's.
Cam, that's more than you've raced in 10 years.
He's in
20
great shape.
Yeah. Jesus.
Great shape, great form. Somebody who knows how to win is tough to beat because they can judge it. We're not going for a crazy pace. So I spoke to David and we're looking at like 53.00, but like I said, trying to take it all the way towards 600 rather than going out fast and letting it.
Who's pacing that? Potentially to 600.
Ben Schofield. So Ben has ran fast. He's 48 low 400 runner. He's ran 52 for the 4 hurdles. And 152 800.
Yeah, he won Northern
and won the
up
there in the Northern 800s as well, like 6. So
he's decent. He's good at 400 at 800 as well.
Yeah,
so.
he paced the A race at Jarrow as well. So he
got the
experience from pacing there.
That's key. That you get good paces for all of these races.
And then we've got Adrian Bell's pacing for the B race as well.
Oh, he knows his way around a track.
Experienced.
Yeah.
So we've got a good lineup of pacers. We've got some of the lads from the LD crew as well who are racing in the B and C races and then pacing afterwards after they've had a little bit of recovery.
Nice.
So they know what they're doing pace wise. So we're in good hands on that front. And
got some good juniors in as well.
Yeah, some really, really good juniors. So, there's Connell Kirk, who we skipped there, who's 150 this season, 148 PB. He actually ran in the European Indoors for Ireland and won the Northern Ireland Champs. So, ran in the European Indoors in 2019. So, a very good athlete. Looks like he's coming back to form after not racing last year over 800. Then the under-20s. And an under-17. Yeah,
there's a few under-17s like later on as well in a few of the other races that I clocked. There was a few under-17s like around the 155, 154 mark, which is that's a good standard to be at when you're like 15, 16-year-old.
Yeah. Jordan Phillips under-20, 151 this year, third in the Scottish schools. Also a 50.02 400 runner.
Why is everyone so
quick.
fast?
Yeah, I know. Archie Lawson under-23. 152.0 this year, but he's just won 3 BMCs. So Birmingham, Leeds and Bury.
It's when you win races, that's when you know you're due a big drop. in your personal best.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
Like, if
I
you're
agree.
like consistently winning them and getting better,
Yeah.
when you get into like a fast race, then that's like when you just like see a massive drop.
I said this on the commentary about Scott the other night. He's knocked in like 3 PBs in like 24, 25 days. Scott Beattie.
Okay,
You know,
right.
he was just in.
Yeah, well, I know. I thought there's a few Scots, isn't there?
Yeah. So, and I think that's like in turn, either running PBs, running quick, or winning races, you get this like confidence about you.
Yeah.
And no matter like what standard you're at, you'll turn up to a race and you think, these aren't touching me today. Like you've got something about you, I think. So 14 races on the spin. Robert Shipley's gonna be.
Yeah.
He's going to be dangerous.
Like he says,
he's
well,
going to be
Archie
dangerous.
Lawson,
So
another one.
the other young lads creeping in there, Ben Stratton, 152, he PB'd in the England Under-20 Championships. So he's ran that PB in a championship race. He was 5th in the Bury F race. So he's maybe, I didn't see that race, so maybe because it was obviously Saturday night while we're watching the Olympics. But yeah, perhaps he's gone off a bit too hard there and overcooked it. But again, yeah, running a PB in a championship race, great. Cole McAndrew, under 17.
Do you know what I quite
second
like
in
here,
English
Pazzi?
schools.
You're taking into account not just season's best times, you're taking into account like championship races as well, and who's running where and what. Some people just go, season's best, will plug
Yeah,
in.
Knowledge.
I feel like we
It's
can
money,
do
isn't
that because we're in August as well.
Yeah.
And the late in the season, you can't really. What's the correct term for? That's not swearing.
Sandbagging.
Yeah.
let's say it anyway.
I like
What's the correct term for it?
Yeah,
I'll
but you
just say
can't,
it.
like I see the entries that people put in, and I see their estimated times and target times.
Even
and
my
I
Oh,
see
season
yeah.
tonight,
some
yesterday,
of them
I
like
have to blur swear.
I used to do that.
Yeah.
I ran 152 the other week, but I'm in 143 shape. Stick with the
Yeah, so I mean,
There's confidence and then there's delusion.
so
Yeah, I've heard that a lot about me. Yeah, you're deluded.
They're obviously training really well, but I've been around the block enough to know what the times mean, and so you can obviously
Calling it out.
You've done it when you said you were going to run sub 4 at the Tartan Games all them years ago.
Exactly. So that's why you can't.
Yeah.
I know because I've done this
Yeah.
myself. We've got Logan Bealey who ran 350 at Jarrow, so we've put him in the air race because he ran 152.8 this year.
What was his target time for this event? Has he put one down or not?
Yeah, I've got the column hidden at the minute, but 350 he ran at Jarrow, so he's performed in that race, and we did say that if people perform in our races, in our series, we will rate that when we're doing the seeding.
Yeah.
Same with Matt Lindsay, so Matt Lindsay's ran 150 last year. This year he didn't look like he was in great form, but I just had a feeling from some of the performances I'd seen him done, put him in the 1500 air race. He ran a massive PB, 3:49.00. So yeah, let's hope that Matt does that again. But yeah, as we go down the field, I think we're up to around about 30 guys now who are within about 4 seconds on the men's side. Nice. We've got
some
Actually,
really
here's a
quick
question for you. Would you ever have consider, or in the future, would you ever consider, right? And this is a bit of a concept for the BMC. So like, you have like a bunch of guys who are all sort of like 144s, but then you've like, let's say, for instance, in this race, you've got like top 20 guys are like 154 or quicker. You could like do 2 or 3 competitive races and have like a couple of the top guys in there in each race, if you know what I mean. So like sort of seeding them. Would you ever do something like that?
So
you
what?
could
Put
do
like
when
your
they're really
quickest
close.
athletes.
So like all the quickest athletes aren't in the top race, and then it's like competitive for everybody. So like you're almost seeing like 3 exciting races. Well, not the other ones won't be. I'm just meaning as in
how
like
close they are, don't they? Because there's obviously like some
I know
ego
what you
comes
mean,
into
yeah.
it as well, whereas they want to. Yeah, I guess you've got to have some sort of.
Just
pecking
it would
order
just be
where you've won
interesting,
your
that's
way
I
in.
think it would be
if they're all very tight.
what the
times.
athletes.
I would
would
quite enjoy
want.
that.
Yeah, what would you gain out of doing?
I guess it's like championship
races in
experience,
that?
isn't it? Like
Yeah.
I guess that's the only thing that.
Yeah, I get that as
know.
well, and I think it comes back to what the target of the race would be. So like typically BMCs are fast times. No one really gives.
That's the third time he's gonna have to bleep out tonight,
No one really cares where you finish, but your time is a big thing for you when you go to BMC. So I guess it would be what
It is the reason you go, I
athletes
get
were
it, yeah,
targeting
like-
in them races. Like if they were wanting to race,
Yeah.
maybe.
A little bit off topic, but I actually think that that's like one of the biggest things they need to like change in athletics is like have more like it's a diamond leagues. Not all of them should be paced. I think there should be like definitely like at least 2 or 3 meets in there where it's like out and out racing. Like
Yeah,
that'd be so
absolutely.
But
exciting.
they just stack the money on that one.
Huh?
could stack the money on that one.
What do you
So
mean?
it's like more money.
Yeah. So like
position.
incentive, like it's incentivized.
Incentivize the position rather than the time in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
particular race.
Because like the champs, like when it comes to every year, when it comes to like the Europeans or Worlds or Olympics, it's like super exciting. Cause you're like, who's going to win? Whatever. It's just, if it's stretched out straight away after the first 400 meters, it's just like a I don't know, a lot of Africans at the front. But like look at the world champs
They
there.
should
Like
do
top,
like a bit
top
of a-
five had like was like a lot of the Ethiopians and Kenyans didn't really like. They didn't.
Yeah, they
Well, the
didn't
women's
feature.
did, but the men's never like really
Yeah.
lived up to what they did in the Diamond Leagues. I mean, the women's was like fantastic.
They
But
could do some sort of point system over like a 12 race series, 1 race a month.
hey,
I think it'll be really interesting. I think this is the whole point of Michael Johnson's track league. Like, that we are done with the BMCs and Diamond Leagues, so maybe just times goal orientated only. We want to see big names racing each other more often. It's what makes it exciting.
do you think it'll
world
be
records
paced
tumbling,
or not?
things like that.
Is it-
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
thought it wasn't paced.
Is it not?
I
I
thought it
would watch.
wasn't.
I would love. I mean, I would watch it anyway. To be honest, like let's be honest. But like,
It's a good concept. I guess my only concern with that series is it's trying to build it. They're obviously going to try and build it around a few people who they've paid into the contract. And one of the beauties of athletics is you get people just rise through the ranks through the season, and people come out of nowhere. So you don't want athletics to be a closed shop where you've only got a certain amount of people in there. So if they go, okay, well, we've just signed 15 guys for the 1500 and they're the ones, we're going to make a massive deal of these people.
Yeah, but
what happens to everybody else who's just making a massive improvement that year who you're then not going to know about? That's my only concern.
I don't think this is it. No, but Diamond Leagues are pretty similar, aren't they? Like I seen that Neil Gawley had said that the reason he committed to running Prefontaine was because even though he was injured in March, he needed to I think it was March, he needed or something like that a few months before, he needed to sign to say he was going to do it, commit to it. So but then there was people who had breakthroughs, like the young Aussie guy and other people who got into the race, like the Bowman Mile, off the back of some decent performances. They must I'm sure they'll leave the door open for a few people who are having breakthroughs. But I get what you mean. Like it's almost a bit like the Euro League with football, isn't it? When they were gonna do the Super League.
You don't want to close shop, but you do want the head-to-head. So hopefully, I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Should we go on
Got
the
slightly off track there, didn't
Yeah,
we? Off
slightly
track.
off track.
Way.
No,
On
point.
track.
Get up there.
Well, there's no talking about the shoes.
we've got
I'll
some.
give you-
No,
there's a
we've got
couple-
some.
There's a couple others to mention before we move on to the ladies. There's a Irish lad. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name.
Which
so
one is
I'm
it?
sorry because it's
this one here.
Malin. Right,
Mr. Malin.
I don't want to don't want to offend anybody, but 343, 1500, 402 this year is more of a cross-country road specialist. Hasn't really got much of an 800 background behind him, so he's got to convert that. He's under 20, 343, 402 miles, so he could make a massive jump. We've got Ellis Hetherington, who's won 7 times this year, 351. Every race he's doing, he's winning, but is always winning by quite a big margin.
Who?
Ellis Hetherington.
Yeah.
Josh Fidderman is another local in the part of the LD crew, so he's running close to his PBs, but not quite back there. We've got there was a lad who's a 355k guy, yeah. So Andrew Mulligan, another one, North Belfast, 340, 1500, but not in as good shape this year, 346, but he has run 1350 last year at Armagh.
He was another local for a bit. He was a Durham student.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
he was coached by Losey for a bit.
But hasn't done an 800, so he's got no form over 800 at all, but is incredible over 15 and 5k at best. So, yeah, I mean, the A and the B race are going to be absolutely loaded once we've decided who's fully going to be in them races. So, yeah, fantastic turnout. He should have been in it.
All right, let's just move on before this goes down the same road.
So, yeah, let's move on to the
Jill
ladies' side.
Cherry.
So, yeah, Jill Cherry is our leading athlete. Like you said, Cameron, before, we've got quite a few who are coming in from Scotland, coming down. 2:04 on the 7th of August, so she's in form. First in the C race at the BMC in Birmingham. She made the UK indoor final last year, third in the books. Also, another 400 runner, 54.1.
Wow.
400.
Really?
That is rapid. So, yeah, Jill's going to take some beating in terms of the fastest, taking the fastest ladies' time on paper, because she's in form and she's way under that 2:10 mark.
Nice. What are they going to take them through in and for?
So provisionally, she's in a race that's going through in 59. So,
Nice.
so if she's at the back of that, so 60, 61, that sets her really well for
That's
like a
ideal,
2:03.
almost that.
That's what she
Like,
wanted.
Goodness me, God, that's going to be really exciting to watch that.
So yeah, it's looking like she's going to be like massive favourite. That's going to be a fantastic performance if we can pull that out. As we go slightly further down, again the under-20s and the under-17s coming in here, so much talent. So Sarah Smith.
Sorry to interrupt. Under 15 as well. What a fantastic opportunity for a youth to be in that field.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, is that Karis right?
Yeah.
Yeah, class. She's under 15, 2:13.
Yeah, won the Scottish Champs 1500, won the schools cross country. So we've got some
Wow.
amazing
That's-
talent
yeah.
showing up for this race.
But we've said this from the off about these series. It's like, because you get some real quality operators in there, I think it's mint for the younger athletes to turn up and be like, oh, I'm in a race with someone that's potentially ran like 5-6 seconds quicker than me, or they can identify like athletes and say, like, God, they've ran 2:04. So there's that little bit of like inspiration that goes along with it. I know what it was like going down to Northeast Champs and you'd see someone who used to be a bit of a face there, or like we're at the tail end of their career and you'd be like, as if they're racing here today. Like,
I remember that. I remember seeing, like, when I was like, it was Nick McCormick when I seen him when I was like 15 or 16.
yeah,
When he's shaven head. I
yeah.
remember thinking like, oh, it's Nick McCormick.
I can remember a 400 metre run, a 400 metre hurdler. It was Jared Deacon, was it?
Jared
Oh,
Deacon.
Him turning up at a
yes.
Northeast
Remember
Champs
him.
and me being like,
Why do I know that?
I see, yeah, he competed
He
at
went
the
to the
Commonwealths. I'm sure he got
Was
an
he a
Olympics, yeah.
decathlete?
Olympics.
Was he a decathlete?
Was he
no,
four
did
hurdler?
400.
Did he not do 4 hurdlers as well? I'm sure we got like
maybe
some
dabbled.
decent medals in the relay as well. But yeah, like just seeing that athlete there was like, God, like he's real deal. So
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
younger athletes like Karis, who's turned up under 15, and Casper Pearson, he's under 15 as well. They're the kind of athletes that, you know, are really
Date of-
going to get something out of these.
Birth, man.
Yeah, the date of births are scary. Like when I was teaching, I would be looking down the date of births. I was like, oh my God, this is horrendous.
Yeah, like what's that? Like 2010? Yeah, 2010.
Yeah. So a few other names to look out for then for this 2:10 payout. Sarah Smith, 2:07 this year. Second in
thinking
English
that's
schools,
Stacey
PB
Smith.
in Trafford in June, but hasn't raced since the English schools, and DNF'd in the England Champs, so potentially injured is coming. So hopefully that means she's on the mend and back in there to set a good time. Abigail Stratton, another under 20, who was 6th in the Bury 1500, so she switched to the 15, ran 4:30. Won the Northerns last year in 2:07 4:20, and then went to America to Central Florida for uni. So hasn't quite converted them times this year, but she's maybe getting ready to go back to uni over there. So hopefully it's like one last hurrah before she goes out and maybe takes a bit of time off. Olivia McGee, under 17, 2:11. 4:35, 6th in the Unit Counties, won the English Schools 1500. Some talent here.
Wow.
Yeah. It's good to see though.
Yeah, when you mentioned before about people like winning and looking like you were going to potentially then like jump forward.
Yeah.
We've got like Megan Ledden, I noticed, 400, 800 runner. This year she's ran 8 times between 2:12.8 and 2:14.3. So she's ran 8 times within 1.5 seconds over 800. That's usually like, if you're that consistent, there's gonna be a jump. So yeah, fingers crossed that
She's gonna
crossed that
hopefully
Megan gets that and like chunks like 4 or 5 seconds off.
Yeah, get a little bit of a breakthrough for her at the end of the season. Yeah, gosh, that is quite a lot.
Best time to do it. There's like no pressure, is there? You're just kind of going out
Yeah,
and racing.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think for this one, it's like it's a late season race, and yeah, like I said, there's absolutely no pressure. Hopefully, we get some good conditions. We've got good pace, and we've got 10 races that are all the races are quite tightly packed. So they should be really competitive right the way down the field, and yeah, hopefully the incentive of the money and then the inspiration of seeing other people run really fast is gonna pull them along, and yeah, really looking forward to it.
Tell you what,
Absolutely.
shout out to Kenny McPherson.
Oh, Kenny.
Vet 55.
I was just about to say, it's not, we focus so much on youth development, which is incredibly important in the sport, but we do have veterans.
Yeah.
And I want to see older, I don't want to say older. That seems so.
We're going to get a few
seems so
complaints
wrong.
now.
No, I'm
Seasoned
34. Like I'm getting on, but I would love to see. I love seeing this. I love seeing the V next to someone's name, and like, you know what? I'm gonna go and do an 800.
Yeah,
it's not
I
just.
think it just shows that they love the sport.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's
that's
just
it.
loving the sport.
So
and
they
I
just
think
want to go and do something that they enjoy. It's a
it's
2
great
minute
to have
race.
it at both ends of the spectrum, isn't it? Yeah,
So
I get what
Kenny's
you're saying.
V55 now. He's ran 2:15 this year, so again he's going to be
Still-
competitive.
He's still quick as well.
Come on.
2:15.
Zoe Doyle V45
Love
has
it.
ran 2:15.8 as well. So her and Kenny have both ran 2:15.8 this year.
That is flipping impressive.
That is
great.
mint,
So
that,
when
like-
you're on about the age group rankings
Yeah.
and stuff, like they're in with a shout there.
Defo.
Listen to this on Zoe Doyle, because this isn't on the spreadsheet. Double Masters World Champion, 4 times Masters European Champion, British Women's 40 Indoor Mile record holder, and British record holder for the women's 45 800 metres. Some girl.
Is
Yeah,
the
class.
World Veteran Championships not coming up?
Oh yeah, so I think
where
is
is it?
the one coming in Gothenburg? Something
Yeah,
like that,
Gothenburg.
something coming up.
So is this
So it
could, be a
could
be a
free race?
preparation
Yeah.
race.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what Andrew Brown's doing as well, because I remember Andrew Brown from a while ago, shall we say, to be polite. I'm getting there anyway. But 148.3 at his best. He's V45 now. He's run 158 this year. So he's put down like a target of 156. Somebody who's got 148 in their repertoire knows how to run 800s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, let's keep a close eye on
Love to see it.
on the V45s.
What are you going to say?
the
Why are you
inspiration
smiling
going.
so much?
No, I was just going to say, remember when Anthony Whiteman came back a few
Yeah,
years
yeah.
ago?
Oh, I remember he did me bad
Oh,
as well.
Oh, he'd done me at the
He's a
English
bit of a
champs as
legend
well.
in
Yeah.
the sport.
I mean, like, you know, you've got no shame. He was like, what, a 3:33 man? Something
32.
like that.
3:32.
30,
Is that right?
32. Yeah, he absolutely put me away over 1500
Yeah.
at the English champs one, yeah. And I remember going into it thinking, he's old. He's done, but he absolutely dusted
No, no,
me.
no.
Absolutely
Actually,
put
you know
me
what?
away.
I asked Tony about his training when he came back, and he said that I mean, you can quote me on this because he said it, but whether he actually did it, you know, people talk different about the training. But he said one thing that kept him going, like longevity wise, is he did easy and steady runs more. He did less sessions, less intense sessions, and he quite liked to do runs where he then, I don't know if he said he went to the track to do them, but you do runs with strides. So that would be his like stimulus. And he said he was more seeing things as like a training stimulus rather than hammering harder sessions, but then getting to races and running hard in the races. So everything else he was doing a lot easier than he was when he was younger. So the emphasis was on just taking over without getting injured, keep the legs stretching by doing the strides without
That does sound
overcooking
legit
it.
to be fair.
And
Little 10-second
and he
hills,
was
I
running
think.
really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, he was always like, I only met him a few times and spoke to him briefly, but just, you could tell he was like a really nice guy, but had his head just screwed on. But I think that comes with that experience that he
Yeah,
had.
that's experience,
And he was dead, just chilled out about everything. He was turning up and he used to be like, oh, you lads should be beating me and all this. I mean, like, mate, you ran 148 a couple of weeks ago.
No, he's so good.
Yeah.
Because he broke 4 minutes, didn't he? At
Yeah, he
age
did.
40.
Yeah,
and
brilliant.
this is pre-super spike, so
Yeah.
He's a good,
Wow.
good chef as
Unreal.
well. He's a
Chef.
good chef. Yeah, he's got his own little thing called Scott's Kitchen.
okay.
Is he?
Yeah, so he like basically
Oh, there's a
he
plug.
invited me round, and I'm still waiting for the invite. Just saying.
Did you do Parmos?
I reckon you'd be able to do one.
Stacey, get yourself there.
Should we
enjoy
all
it?
Maybe he
invite
can
ourselves
convert
round?
me.
Basically, just like has his own kitchen, but then he just like people will like come round for food, like even people he doesn't know, and he's got like ratings and stuff online, so he like just loves to cook.
Ah, yeah, there's
Sounds
a...
And then basically he'll just cook like a mass. He'll have like different
Sounds
things
like
on the
Black
menu
Chef
for them, and
program.
then they'll come round and he just says, "I'll give me a donation for the food, like the food
I see
prices."
some form of collaboration here. We're inviting them down to one of the series and him maybe doing something. We can make something
Yeah,
happen.
Basically,
here.
you just want him to cook for you.
Yeah, I just want it fed.
Yeah, some collaboration where I sit down and he just feeds me what I want. Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds
Sounds-
perfect.
collaborative working.
Sounds like
Yeah.
We'll have caviar,
collaboration.
we'll have duck, we'll have all the expensive things. Thank you, Tony.
yeah.
Tony, I'll just have a Parmo, lad.
So Sunday afternoon, 4 till 5:30 p.m. on the live stream. We'll see
Cam on the
everybody
mic.
there.
The bad boy
Cam
of
on the
British
mic.
athletics is back once again, reigning supreme.
This
You'll
is
be
why
in the
he's good
middle.
on the mic inside.
Stacey, I'll ask you if you're available afterwards. You don't need to commit on that, but if you're there, we'll have you in somehow.
I can tell she's
But
going to say,
I know,
wash
it's
my
like-
hair, Chris.
I think I might
wash
be at a
my-
barbecue, but I'll double check
There
if
you
it's
are.
Saturday or Sunday.
Tony Whiteman doing the cooking.
Yeah, I'm being fed again.
No, well, yeah, thank you very much for coming and guesting. Hopefully we'll have you back in, and yeah, thanks again for Cameron and Rich.
Cheers.
And yeah, see
Thank
you
you,
soon.
Chris.
Thank you.
You're welcome.